Welcome back. Thursday edition of Hot Ice, joined by Ev and Carl. First things first, we're going to have the hit parade later in the show. We are officially on a losing streak. I hate losing streaks. We're going to fix that today. I feel it. Little pre-show, the guys, we were talking a little bit, we're like, you know what? I don't really love this card. We're going to dive right into some things, but we are hitting the hit parade today. I'm telling you right now, I just feel it. It's one of those, I feel it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm with you. Losing streaks, like we say, gambling, it's all about momentum. We're going to turn it today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a parlay. It's difficult to hit. We started with a great cushion, so we're in a good spot. I almost rather go 0-3 on the nights we do it than 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 would be pain. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst. Headlines. I was gonna get Clem. I know we talked about obviously mixing in fans and stuff like that. A little behind the curtain. They're recording We Gotta Believe, which is a Mets podcast. Go check it out. So we wanted Clem. Ev, I know you have some strong takes. Really, the only headline yesterday to me was, it's a little home cooking, obviously, with the Mets. Mets-Cardinals fight, second dust-up now of the year. For the Mets, we've kind of seen, like we talked about, Buck, like, not afraid of this. I don't want to get crazy. I'll give my quick take. Like, saying this year like, people get really, really freaked out, but it was after 1985 and before 1987, if you read through the cracks. That's like a big year for the Mets. They were some badass motherfuckers. Like, you watch the documentary, I read all the books. Like, you have to have a history lesson if you're gonna be a Met fan. They were in a dust up once a week. Like took pride in it. They were like, yeah, we're gonna win the game and win the fight. I'm not saying this team is there yet because they haven't won anything, but I love the attitude. Ev, I know you think Alonso's a bitch. I'll give you the floor. I can see that. Like, I get it from an outside perspective. Carl, you've been there. You're one of the bullpen hoppers, jumping the fence like you're a 12-year-old. Like, this is a perfect scenario. It's my team. This is a perfect headline. This is what we dream of on a slow Thursday. Ev, what is your take? I know you hate Alonso.
Well, see, no. I don't hate Alonso. I really don't. I know going yesterday, I had no ill will towards him. I still really don't. I just think, listen, I was poking fun because Mets fans have been giving it to Yankee fans all year, especially the rough start. The cheating, the envelope coming out, which actually ended up really being nothing. So I just said, you know what, I'll poke some fun back. Your boy got ragdolled. What really stood out, listen, he got tackled from behind. It was funny when you're getting tackled by a 50-year-old coach named Stubby or whatever his name is. Very funny. But to be on, Alonso should have taken it in stride. For him to get on the mic all like hot and bothered, like I could have put somebody in the hospital. You know who doesn't put people in the hospital? People who say they could put people in the hospital after the fight's over. That's who doesn't put people in the hospital. When you're like Mr. What's his frame? What are we working with? 6'3", 250, 240? We'll say 235. Like, big guy. Listen, him. I just thought like he should have been like, listen, it was a dust up. Like, we got hit with a bunch of pitches. Arenado came inside and Arenado obviously got fired up. That's what leads to the brawl. I just think you're Alonso. You can't be like, I could have put guys in the hospital. I didn't. Like, guy, no, if you wanted to, like, if you could have, you would have done it.
Listen, I met him in person. He's a nice guy, man. He could put somebody in the hospital if he wants to.
I mean, I'm sure, like, he could. Listen, like, I'm not saying I want to fist fight the guy tomorrow. I'm just saying, like, you can't be. I just think you can't be like Mr. like big power hitting first baseman, get thrown down on your back by a 50-year-old man, and then you're like, oh, like I could beat everybody up. Like, I just thought he came off like a bitch saying that. Like, he should. Like, I just think the put people in the hospital lines. He should have kept that one in the chamber.
Yeah, I mean, spin zone from I may or may not have heard this around the office. It might have been Black Friday. Like, were you worried he was going to spend the night in Rikers? You have any comment on that?
Alonso?
I thought you would get the joke. Maybe think about it. I'll come back to you at the end. Right? Black Friday, we had a certain guest in the office, gets in a little dust up. He's afraid he's going to spend the night in Rikers. You can figure that one out. Carl, what is your
got it. I wasn't putting the Black Friday together.
It's all good. Everybody knows you get in a shoving match, you go to Rikers. That's how it goes. Carl, you're the bullpen guy. I feel like you jumped a few fences in your life. Like, what? Go ahead, give me what we got.
Yeah,
here.
you have to jump in and you have to run in. That's like one of the worst like obligations. Like one of the worst sneaky hidden obligations in sports, because the bullpen guys, for the most part, they know running in like this is just fucking silly as fuck. And But at the same time, it is a huge part of baseball culture is to like stand up for your guys. Like that is because especially relievers too are like the closest thing to being a special teamer. So they do feel like if you come into the game, like you do have to drill somebody. So like there is this push and pull where it's like it's lame that you have to jump the fence and run in, but like if you don't do it, like you're the worst person in the world. Like you're worse than the guys who are drilling the hitters. Like then your teammates hate you. So it's just a silly ass fucking situation all around. I don't know if I trust anyone at the company more than you to say whether or not someone's a good fighter or a little bitch. Because like everybody just says you're like your things like handicap and fighting now, and like if you think Alonso's a bitch, I think he's a bitch. I'll tell you this. I know for a fact Nolan Arenado is one of the sneaky, craziest people in professional sports. Like, I know but like, I don't think it's widely accepted at the national media level where like he is as fucking unhinged as anybody in Major League Baseball in a good way. Like a young little kid who like doesn't want to lose and throws temper tantrums, but it's just fucking electric stuff, guys, going into May. I mean, that's exactly what I want. Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing too, like you guys aren't Mets fans, but like, is it okay to be excited about the attitude this Mets team brings? Like I'm dead serious. Like to have a little swagger in them, you know, after being like fucking getting pushed over a lot, or you know the runs of like 6 games with 1 run combined, or with 4 runs in 6 games. Like it just feels like now they're a little bit of like, yeah, all right, we will be bad guys. Like we'll embrace that. Like what you respect that at least a little bit, Ev, of like being like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, we'll fight a little bit. Like, fuck it.
No. Like I love Buck. Like I love like anytime a ball even comes a little bit inside, you see him stand up at the end of the fucking bullpen. He's like, "What's up?" Like glaring at the pitcher. I appreciate that a lot. I liked everything about it besides Alonso's comments. Like if he doesn't say like the hospital comment, I think it's all fair play. Like Mets obviously had plenty of reason to be upset. They got hit a bunch of times. Arenado is a reason to be upset. Like they come high and inside at him right after. Obviously, Alonso the day before he gets hit in the head, he kind of lets it go. Arenado didn't let it go. Obviously, leads to it. I don't hate it at all. I'm a big Buck Showalter guy because I saw it from like day when probably basically the first thing that started all this was like one guy gets hit, he's immediately up like what's going on. Like he's definitely you see that in his fire. Like he's a guy that wants to like stand up for his guys, and I'll always appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, the Mets have so many, like, the Mets, for this to really work in the long run for the Mets, like, they're going to have to overcome multiple distractions throughout the year. Like, that's part of being the Mets. That's part of playing in the NL East. That's part of playing in New York. And so it's almost good to have, like, a major controversy now because I would be alarmed if they stumble out of this and it's still, if you're talking about a week later and they go fucking 3-4 over their next 7, then people are just going to keep talking about it. So, like, this is kind of an opportunity for the team to, like, put this shit behind them today, go out, play fucking hard. I bet that's exactly what they want to do too, because they know it. Like you were asking, they know in the locker room. I guarantee you those guys get in the locker room, they look at each other, you know, like in the clubhouse, look at each other like this is fucking different. Like it's different. It feels different. Yes. They have momentum. They don't want to lose it. And the one thing nobody's probably saying to each other in that fucking clubhouse is wait till Jacob comes back. Like, just imagine. So I think they're just like, let's just keep it going as long as we can, one game at a time. But it's just the high end of baseball watching how the Mets have played so far. I know they got their asses kicked, but they're a fucking great fucking team.
They are. They pulled one out the other night. You know, you talk about that too, like distraction. That's definitely true. Like whether they want to admit it or not, the DeGrom injury is a distraction, you know? So, I mean, whether they want it to be or not, like you are missing your best player. The media is going to ask you questions about it. They're battling through. I like how they're battling through. They're not just trying to be 500 by the All-Star break when he comes back. The last thing I guess to package it up to is we touched on him. Seems like everybody likes him. I think Buck is like almost seeing the end of the tunnel here too. And like he's rejuvenated of, I got to get myself a World Series, you know, like, or this really cements me. Like this is my like to win one in New York. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he's fucking motivated too. And it's showing in the team. Like, yeah, what do you mean you're not going to fight? What do you mean we're not going to run out double plays, know the rules? You know what I mean? Like I really love the way the team's going. I know that's polar opposite of Frank the Tank, but
do you think Buck legitimately thought that he'd be in this situation again to go get a World Series ring?
No. Not
right?
really.
So he's got to feel like this is really fucking it.
No, I would have seen him getting like maybe the Pirates who were like, you know what? Like we got some guy like almost like Crash Davis and Bull Durham. like, hey, we got a pitcher, like go coach him for a little bit, or like we got a couple of young stars, like make them tougher or something like that. But you ain't gonna win. Like I didn't think he would stumble into this. I'll be honest. And you look at the events of kind of how it broke out. Like, was Beltran supposed to be the guy? Like there's all the cheating and all that stuff. So like a lot of things fell in place, right time. I guess it is what it is for Buck.
I do one last thing. I
Sure.
realized, or just an idea I had watching the Mets locker room interviews or clubhouse interviews, and I think Steve Cohen is fronting fines, and I think he's told players, like, you guys can say what you want, and if shit happens or you guys get fucking pushed back, I'm like, I have your back. This is how we're gonna ride. And like, I think he's very rare. I think that is what's going on, because like Chris Bassett never in 1,000 years should be like ragging, like where Chris Bassett falls in the hierarchy of like major league players. But something's going on with the Mets where these players feel like they're empowered to speak up. Their owner has their back. Like, I really do think there's some trickle down, and that's a different thing for Major League Baseball, because a lot of these clubs, the owners fucking despise their players. So that's just keep your ear to the ground if you hear anything about,
Last one, an all-time story. You talk about the fines. Are you familiar with the Mets 86 plane story after Game 6 in the Astros?
I'm not, please.
All right, real quick. Davey Johnson walks in. The owners are livid. They trash the plane. They were hammered. They may have been skiing a little bit, whatever. They pass out cake. They're throwing cake. The wives are covered in champagne and cake. The plane is a wreck, like $50,000 bill, whatever it was, 15,000, 86, whatever the fuck it was. Davey Johnson, the owner's like, you're paying this. Davey Johnson walks in with the sheet of paper and goes, guys, they told me to pay this. He rips it up in front of the team. He's like, let's go win a fucking World Series. So that was their attitude. Like, sometimes being a bad guy, like, it can work. The other headline, really, I guess we'll just kind of dive in. There's a lot of day baseball here. I know the card is not necessarily the best. Getaway days, maybe you get guys swinging at bad pitches early on. Like, is there anything you're taking a look at as far as some of these that don't involve your best bets? Let's just do it that way. Like, is there anything in these day games that you like that's not on your card as far as dog or best bet? Ev, what kind of stands out to you as like a bonus pick, pretty much?
I mean,
if you don't have one, not chasing is not the worst thing in the world. Like, let's face it that way. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, I lean this way. Like, we're going for good information. We're going for winners. So whatever you want to play it.
Yeah, I'd probably the two that aren't on my card that are probably, even though this team, like literally the last time I gave out my dog of the day and I lose on a catcher overthrow with a third baseman for a walk-off. The Tigers, I can't shake them. Like, I just think they're a much better team than they're putting out right now. So them, and also the Blue Jays are pretty hot. I like the Blue Jays today as well. I think is Gosman pitching today, right? I think he is.
They have Manoah on the app.
Or Manoah, that's right. Even better, honestly. So yeah, the Blue Jays I like. I didn't play them. They're a little juicy. I think they're minus like 150, but I mean Manoah's been great. So Blue Jays Tigers are a couple I'm looking at that aren't on the official card.
Okay, Carl, anything stand out that's not on the card?
I mean, we have a lot of these plays that we like try and identify, but then the other side of these plays aren't working out for me. So for example, like I like Patrick Corbin overs, but Trevor Rogers is pitching for the Marlins. Like, I don't think the Nats can score enough. I would like to bet against them, but Rogers isn't that good. The Nats have lost 5 in a row. Do they bounce back today? That's kind of a weird spot. I don't hate Skubal today for the Tigers. That's okay. And I like Manoah a lot, but the problem is, like, his price is really high. And I think the Red Sox, this Garrett Whitlock guy, I mean, they used him in a start last time out. It was like 4+ innings, 1 hit, 7 Ks. He's kind of getting an opportunity everywhere he's gone. He just strikes out a fuck ton of people. So there's a couple classic spots we've talked about here that I'm going to kind of lay away. And the day baseball stuff's true. Like, it's early in the season. These guys could still be partying. Like, you just don't really – there's a lot of variance when you're talking about day baseball. And if you're hesitant about the variance, like, you don't have to play. There were 15 games on Tuesday. There were 15 games on Wednesday. There's 13 games tomorrow. There's going to be another 15 tomorrow. So just be patient.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could even, if you're in a legal state, obviously, like pick and choose lives. Like maybe 3 runs are scored in the first. We talked about overs dying in the 5th inning. Maybe you get a discounted number, or an inflated number, I should say, of like 9. Maybe the total jumps to 9. You're like, you know what? I've been watching the fucking Phillies bullpen. They're pretty good. I'm going to take this under, or like, hey, I've watched this team. Like, they're on it. They're hitting the ball. They're just getting a couple of fucking diving catches. Like, they're going to come back, or they'll be in this. I like this. I don't think it's the worst thing to be a live day.
Well,
With that said, I'm on the Rockies plus 163. Wheeler's got an 8.53 ERA. Maybe this is a Mets bias. This Rockies team is kind of like a story. Good start, scoring and runs. Philly's a bandbox. Rockies could get some lift. I even on a getaway day, I think they can get going. The crazy thing for the Rockies is Brendan Rodgers. They're going to keep playing this kid, but he hasn't contributed nothing. Like no homers. He's hitting a fucking blood alcohol content for his batting average. It's brutal. So if they can get him going, Rockies, out west, I know that a ton of teams out there are good, but the Rockies can have a nice season. I like the Rockies, especially here in against a bad pitcher in a short park. Carl, what are you chasing on a dog?
Yeah, good call on Rodgers too in Colorado. That it's very hard to sweep a 4-game set. So I like them plus 170. I like that. I like that a lot. And Austin Grommer pitching for him. My dog of the day, I'm selling the 9 up to a 9.5 for the total. We're going to take the over, which is stupid, but we're going to fucking do it anyways, guys. And we're going to sell half a run on it between the Angels and the Indians. Reed Detmers is a fucking bum, and the Indians need to face a guy like this. This is a gift from God that the Indians are struggling. They got embarrassed by the Yankees. They're getting their dick smashed in by the Angels. If there's anything that can save the Indians, it's a guy like Reed Detmers going out there throwing fucking poo down the middle of the plate. And Cale Quantrill from the Indians has been shit so far this year. I think he's a little bit shitty today. The Angels got a good fucking lineup. I got over 9.5 plus 125.
Yeah, listen, we talk about it. I'll get to you, Ev, real quick, but like the unders are hitting at a great number. That doesn't mean that there's 1 or 2 games that fly over. You saw it the other night, like the Brewers and Pirates, 1 million runs. Philly, who's the other? Padres, Reds, 1 million runs. Like you can get a game if you have it circled. Then that doesn't mean just blindly bet all the unders. You can pick your spot with overs here. Guys are going to score, especially against bad pitchers, bad bullpens. I don't hate it. Chase the 9.5. Let's roll with it. Ev, what's your dog of the day?
Listen, plug your nose for this one, boys. I'm taking a shot at the Nationals. I just don't think they get swept here. I know they are awful. This bullpen is awful. Even listen, if you don't trust it, take the first 5. Carl's leaning back on me. I don't blame him. That's why I said plug your nose. Plug your nose before you take this one. Listen, it's been awful. Like Carl said earlier, Rodgers has actually been great. I just think they don't get swept here. Listen, the worst teams in baseball still win 60 games. The Nationals they're going to win this game. They're going to win today.
Today's the day. All right,
win this game.
All right. Perfect segue. My best bet is the Marlins. I'm also on. I will in unison of Ev being a little cold. Like we'll put that as like an asterisk. Talk me out of the Padres minus 108 though, guys. Like I get it. It's hard to sweep, but
Tyler Miley's a guy who, if he didn't pitch in Cincinnati, people would have a lot more respect for him.
All right.
And I think he's the type of guy who's been around Cincinnati long enough. He just sees them get their ass kicked. He's the guy who's like, give me the ball. The other thing is the Padres are the type of team, they got a series lead. They're out. They're fucking around in Cincinnati. People think Cincinnati's like, it's not a place to hang out and party necessarily, but if you're a Major League Baseball player, you can have some fun in Cincinnati. And I think the Padres are that kind of team. So that's why I would talk you out of the Padres.
And they score a ton of runs.
And it's 9 a.m. It's 9 a.m. California time for them. Or is it 8 a.m.?
Well, they've been adjusted. They've been there for 3 days. So, yeah, you're right. But the other thing, too, to look at is Padres minus 1.5 is plus 160. Like, I feel like if you're going to win, you might as well go get the crooked number, go get the plus sign. But those are my best bets, Padres and the Marlins. Carl, best bet.
Okay, sorry. I thought you meant sincerely talk you out of that. That's what I was trying to do. I still like the Padres.
When I say that,
the Reds are fucking trash. If you
we haven't got to that.
Reds.
Ev is in that relationship. I haven't been doing betting content with you long enough. I respect your opinion, but Ev, I'll walk in and say, Ev, talk me out of it. If he gives me something, I literally don't bet it. Like that's how it works. I love it so much, I don't bet it. So that's how it goes. But go ahead, Carl.
All right, my play of the day is juicy. It is disgusting. It's creamy. It is the Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox under 6.5. This is the Royals trying to get out of here and like sneak some magic. They went in it, they won the first game of the series. The White Sox bounced back. It's like I don't know. It just seems like one of these games. Michael Kopech is a fucking stud, throwing 100 miles an hour, shuts people down. I don't hate Keller for the Royals. I think he's kind of a guy that the Royals have tried to build around like a little bit. We'll see. The White Sox are struggling so much right now, and I just like a righty-righty matchup. Like I said, this is gross, but the weather in Chicago is gross today. It's like 38 degrees, windy as fuck, and we're far enough along in the season where I think that advantage is firmly with the pitchers now.
We were talking about that AL Central. I mentioned it to Chuck, and he's like, you know what? I would keep an eye on the Royals at 20-1. He thinks that division is still like wide open. So crazy. Ev, best bet.
Rico, I'm with you. This is for me. Just as a gambler, it's principle. It's principle. There's the 3-15 now. The 3-15 Cincinnati Reds shouldn't. I don't care who's pitching. They should not be favored over anyone. I bet the Padres every game this series. I'm going back to the well. I think I got like minus like 104, something like that. This is principle. The Cincinnati Reds should not be favored over literally anyone. Give me the Padres.
No, I mean,
if they lose.
It's NFL draft night tonight. I'll give you a perfect like football analogy. The Reds come out and get a touchdown put on them in the first drive every game. They get blitzed early. Like, these teams can get to them. It's hard to come back from a lead. Like, I've just watched it. The Reds are bad. They strike out a lot. I'll take it. I just don't see how I can live with the Padres losing one at a small, like, and I'm a small favorite. I'm not laying major juice. Like,
laying no juice.
Yeah, I'll take it. So that's the way it goes. The hit parade has a price because of the early day game. So let's get on it as quick as possible. I'm giving you Miguel Rojas. He's batting .433 with 3 homers against Corbin. He's got 30 plate appearances. It's not one of those like he hasn't seen him. It's 4 out of 6. Like, oh, he had a good road trip. That guy had a bad road trip. He's seen him enough. Same division. I like the Marlins here, obviously, like I talked about, best bet. I think Rojas, I know he's come back from an injury. I like him getting a hit here. Ev, who are you putting into the hit parade?
I'm on Arenado here. He's been the hottest hitter in the Cardinals lineup. He's hitting like 350, big power numbers, 4-hitter. They're playing tonight. They're back at home against the Diamondbacks. No, we're thinking it too much. I'm just riding the hot hand here. Hot hitter, middle of the lineup. Give me Arenado.
Hot head too. After yesterday, he's got to go get it. I like that spot to him to go get a hit. Maybe he hits a fucking Yabo. I don't hate that as well. Carl, who you got in the hit parade?
Yeah, good pick. Arenado's all fired up. We lost 2 in a row, so I'm just playing this safe. I'm going to the well. I'm taking the fucking best player in the history of baseball. I'm taking Mike Trout. Like I said, I see just like a lot of runs. He's playing well. The Angels are seeing the ball well. It's a day game. He's going to be ready to go. Like, don't overthink it. Mike Trout. That's it.
All right, so that is Rojas, Arenado, and Trout. It's plus 235. We boosted it from plus 200, plus 235. Let's get back on the board here with the hit parade. Extra innings. I've been like in a memorabilia type thing. Like, I've been just hitting the eBay for the most random things. I got an autographed picture of Bryce Drew from Valpo the other night when they hit the buzzer beater. Him and his father, like, autographed. I won this one. Give me some advice. I think he's the best player to ever play the game. Do I open this? Ken Griffey Jr., like, starting lineup, like, full mint? Like, do you open this fucking thing? Or I just keep it? I
don't know anything about memorabilia, and my knee jerk was instantly no. Don't know.
Well, it's not really. Here's the thing. It's not memorabilia. It's like what I think is like cool. Like, I mean, look, I got a Bryant jersey. I got fucking, like, of all the Mets stuff, I have Robin Ventura. Like, he played 4 years. He's my guy, though. I mean, you know what I mean? So, like,
when you get a chance, give an eBay search just to see what the market's like.
Well, I mean, I got it for like,
even if you're not trying to sell it, just so you know what the deal is.
Well, I got it on eBay for like $15.99. So, like, I don't know.
Oh, all right. So
did I steal it? Devin Hester, yeah. I mean, that's the stuff I like.
That's good.
The only bobblehead I'll put on a desk is the Devin Hester bobblehead.
Yeah, there's a picture. You know, I've Jared Lorenzen, like Grant Hill, like I have Bill Snyder from K-State being carried off the field because he just beat the shit out of Kansas for me. Like, if you come down here, you'd be like, oh, this is cool stuff, but you're also a serial killer. Like, this.
Yeah. You have a good mix of like sports memorabilia, but also like extremely bizarre attachments to it. Bill Snyder getting carried off a field in Manhattan, Kansas should absolutely not be framed on your wall, Rico. I'm sorry.
In Staten Island, New York.
I don't know if you've ever bet, Carl. I don't know if you've ever bet Kansas State, Kansas. It is the biggest gift in the history of the world, dude. The best.
What was it, Rico? We went last year. Rico was getting all shit from Dave and Dan. We went down there. I think they scored 3 special teams touchdowns. It was unbelievable.
I had people cutting the clips. I was like, K-State, like, it was a new coach now, obviously, Holtman. No, not Holtman. What the fuck is his name? Help me out, Evan.
Kleinman,
Kleinman,
right?
yeah, I knew it was a man. Kleinman, and I was like, they're a special teams team. They run it right up. I'm drilling Portnoy, which is the best that we go. So it is what it is. Anything else as far as extra innings?
I just say there's a couple. If you guys want to do something today, there are a couple sweeps on the board with big fucking underdogs. So like when that happens, it's just I wouldn't even call it a system or whatever. It's just like if you see guys getting swept or opportunity to get swept, like I'm gonna package all those up in a parlay and take the guys that are fighting not to get swept. So
got it. That's a huge payout. I like that.
I like this show, guys. I love talking. I honestly do very much enjoy talking MLB gambling. I'm sorry, my eyes. I have my fucking spreadsheets up for the show, and I know my eyes are wandering all over the place. So I should be transparent with the audience here.
Yeah, of course.
I am paying attention. I'm sorry.
No, of course. It's split screen. It's how you got to look at lines are moved like they're. What's great about the app too? It's updating. So like I'm watching and certain things are highlighting red, highlighting green. So that's good to know which way it's moving. Ev, anything to close us out?
No, I'm staring at white walls, boys.
All right. That's the show. Hot Ice. It's priced early. You got to go get it. I know it's the lunch hour right now. Walk outside, fucking take a smoke break, fire your bet in, plus 235. The hit parade gets back on. Marty's going to hit you with the graphic. Have a great weekend.